Hey guys, Jumpin' Robot here and welcome to my guide on the S.A.M boss fight in the new zombies map, Reckoning. This is a guide for when you choose to side with Richtofen and have to fight S.A.M. If you're looking for the guide for fighting Richtofen after siding with S.A.M, I'll link that in the card on the screen and in the description once the video's out. If you're planning on siding with Richtofen before you go through the portal, make sure you've gotten the key card from killing a specific zombie and then interact with the locker opposite Richtofen's wife and child in the tank in mutant development, and that will allow you to pick up the DNA sample which allows you to actually side with Richtofen. Before going into the fight, you should have all perks and triple packed guns. I recommend using Frenzied Guard as some of S.A.M's attacks can still hit you while shrouded, and if you're low on health, using Frenzied Guard will make your armor tank the hits, which can save you a Dying Wish charge or self revive. I recommend running the Retribution augment as that will help if you get stuck on any of the map geometry, as it knocks down any zombies that hit you. I also recommend running Extension as a minor augment, as a longer charge time can be the difference between a down and surviving some of S.A.M's attacks if you get caught off guard. For weapons, I would recommend something with decent range and high damage like the SVD or AMR, as S.A.M keeps her distance during the fight. You could use an assault rifle or marksman rifle, but it might not deal as high damage as the semi-auto snipers. The fight is still very much possible with a weapon without a lot of range, which is what I used on my first time, as I went in completely blind and used a PPSH. I did manage to complete it, but it took me around 38 minutes. Granted, at the start I didn't know the weak point, so I wasn't getting a lot of damage, but it's a much better option to use a high damage weapon with some decent range. For your secondary, I would recommend something that is good for crowd control, like the upgraded wonder weapon. I used the Blanchard's Essence upgrade and it worked pretty well. The ASG or Maelstrom are also pretty good alternatives. When considering your weapons, keep in mind that there is no Uber Klauses or Flying Klauses, only zombies, bugs and doppelgas. For Gobblegum, there aren't any that are really necessary, however having Idle Eyes for a sticky situation can be pretty useful. Another all-round good choice is Perkaholic, as if you down and are unlucky enough to lose Jug, you'll have a very hard time surviving, as a lot of S.A.M's attacks deal a lot of damage that will kill you quickly with Jug if you're not paying attention, and very quickly without it. Like I said, it's not necessary, but it could be useful to use if you have a spare one. For equipment, you can take anything in. I took decoys, but I didn't actually use them. If you have Casimirs unlocked, they're pretty good as another get out of jail free card. For your score streak, I would use different ones depending on what you want. If you want to deal a lot of damage to the boss, I've taken a death machine. If you want to be able to clear multiple hordes at different times, take a war machine. And if you want another safety net with the benefit of being able to kill hordes, take a mutant injection. One of the things about this boss fight is mutant injection will drain pretty quickly if S.A.M's attacking you, so you're not going to really be able to hold on to it for ages to take like a quick break. It's going to be gone within maybe 5 or 10 seconds. Going into the actual fight now, the first part is when you're in the elevator shaft when you're going up after you've selected to side with Richtofen. When you're going up, zombies will spawn. All you need to do is kill these and survive. You'll stop on the first floor. On this floor, all you need to do is fill 3 purple soul boxes with kills. It doesn't take too long, and once you've finished filling them, you can just head back to the platform and it will automatically take you to the next floor. There will be another wave of zombies that spawn in the elevator as it rises, but it's not a big deal. On the second floor, you will need to destroy all of the ether crystals on the devices on the walls. They're pretty clear and aren't really hiding, so this floor is pretty simple. Once you've destroyed all the crystals, you can head back to the elevator and it will go up again. This will take you to the roof where the actual boss fight begins. At the start of the fight, S.A.M has 3 attacks. Lightning Rain, where S.A.M will go in the middle of the arena and begin spinning and getting higher, and electric sparks will come off of her and fly onto the ground. They work similarly to Uber Klaus's ranged attacks, where they deal a decent amount of damage if they hit you, and then they only do small amounts of chip damage if you get close to them after that. The best way to avoid this is to keep running your train, but stay to the edges of the arena, as you can see where the sparks are going to land and just avoid them, and you won't have to worry about them coming from all sides, as you'll be able to cut off one of the sides by staying on the edge. While S.A.M is spinning in the middle before any of the sparks fly off, it is a good time to shoot her. She does have an armor during this phase, so you won't be doing the maximum amount of damage, but it's a good time to get some chip in, as it can take a while for her to actually do the attack that lets you hit her weak points. For her attack Laser Shot, S.A.M will dash around the arena while looking at you and occasionally shoot a barrage of lasers that explode on impact. This attack is the easiest to counter, as all you need to do is just look at her, and when she shoots, either tack, sprint or slide out of the way. It's very important to be aware of your surroundings during this attack, as if you get caught in one of the vents and the laser hits you, it does deal quite a lot of damage. You can also shoot S.A.M during this phase. She still does have the armor, so you'll only be dealing chip. For her next attack, Laser Beam, S.A.M will go into a spot in the arena and look down and begin charging a red laser beam that tracks you. Even with your melee out, stamina up and tack sprinting, the beam can still catch you. The best way to counter it is when you see her start looking down, get behind one of the walls of cover around the middle, as that will give you some room to train your horde without being shot. This attack does deal a lot of damage if it hits you, so it's advisable to take cover immediately. After Sam finishes shooting the laser beam, she will stay still for a moment and there will be 4 red buttons that are around her eye. You can shoot these and destroy them. These buttons are weak spots, so she will take extra damage, so you should start shooting as soon as she ends the attack. Once you're comfortable with the timing of how long the beam lasts, you can run out at the last second and get hit once or not at all to maximise damage, but it can be pretty risky to do that. Once all 4 buttons have been destroyed, her eye will be red and smoking, and that will take a lot of damage when you shoot it. After you've shot it enough, she will retreat into the Dark Ether for a short while from a portal above her, and she will spawn in a load of zombies. Once you've dealt enough damage to her, she will change her attacks. She still has Laser Beam and Laser Shot, and they still work exactly the same way. However, Lightning Rain changes, as once she starts spinning, she no longer just stays in the middle, but now moves around the arena while spraying the lightning. The best way to counter this is to look and see what direction she's going to move in, and go to the opposite side of the arena, as the sparks can actually reach you when you're on opposite sides. Keep track of her and try and keep your distance. You can still shoot her here, but she is still armoured and she no longer stays still, so it makes her a bit harder of a target to hit, so it might not be worth shooting her if you can't multitask very well. Sam also gains a new attack in this phase. For her launch attack, it will launch you into the air and you'll need to pull your parachute. I recommend at this point to cut your parachute and try to get to the ground as fast as possible, as she can just shoot you in the air while you're falling and it is very hard to dodge. If you aren't comfortable with the timing of cutting and reopening your parachute at the last second, it might be a good idea to run the stamina up augment that removes fall damage. During the battle, when Sam retreats into the Dark Ether, she can sometimes spawn a SAM trial, which I recommend you to do to complete it, as it will give you a free perk if you get the highest reward. If you have all perks going into the boss fight, this allows you to use a Dying Wish charge and then get Quick Revive back if it's the only perk you don't have, and if you don't have all perks and have used Dying Wish, you can still get it back, it's just not as likely. I don't actually know what happens if you don't do the trial, because all of the trials are very easy and Sam isn't attacking during them, so there's no reason to not do them. Sam has armor through the whole fight that reduces damage, however you can destroy the weak points during the laser beam attack and then shoot her eye, which is one of the crit spots which deals an insane amount of damage. She also does seem to be invulnerable at some points, but that doesn't really matter because that didn't seem to happen a whole lot, so it's not really going to reduce the amount of chip damage you're getting. After you've dealt enough damage to Sam, she will die and you'll get the outro cutscene. And that is it for the Sam boss fight guide in the new Zombies map Reckoning. Sam is the easier fight between her and Uber Richthofen, which you get if you side with Sam. I will be releasing a guide for the Uber Richthofen fight, which I will link in the description once it's out. If I've missed anything or they update anything within the fight, I'll put it in the pinned comment, and if there's anything that's changed that isn't in the comment, make sure to leave a comment so I can update it so people are getting the best information. If this guide was anywhat helpful, you can show your support by liking and subscribing, as that helps me out. If there's any other videos you just want to see, make sure to leave it in the comments below. Thank you for watching. This has been Jumping Robot. See ya.